Violence, I suspect, will occur no matter who wins. These are communists. They don't care. They want to blow up the system. I keep on telling you that. They don't care about Democrats versus Republicans. They may work with some for tactical reasons, but in the long run, everyone is going to be subject to suppression and oppression by the communists. So I'm concerned about voter fraud. I'm concerned about the activity of counting ballots that arrive after Election Day. And in California, for instance, they're going to be counting ballots that arrive up to 17 days after the election. How do you like them apples? 6 days in North Carolina. I think North Carolina, the disputed period now is 6 days. Pennsylvania, I think it's 3 days, and they could be counting ballots that don't even have a postmark under the rules, under the judicial mandate, really. Now, other courts are intervening to say, no, you're not changing the rules. So it's not a complete loss all around, but you don't need it to be a complete loss all around, because the lawlessness in one state can obviously, given the Electoral College, turn the election one way or the other. So this is going to be a very treacherous period in terms of election law. And on top of that, you have the left planning, and I've detailed it. I was talking to a reporter the other day, and they were asking me about what would be happening about election. I went through, the issues that will probably end up before the courts, which are kind of, you can figure that out generally just as an observer of the scene. But I highlighted the left's plans for violence and threatening secession in order to get Trump removed from office if he wins. And I pointed out to them, how do I know this? Because I read about it in the New York Times. But we detailed it in a special report, which I think we'll link it here, on the Transition Integrity the Transition Integrity Project, a left-wing project. And now you see in DC, the news is businesses here in town are boarding up because they don't trust the leftist mayor of DC to control the violence that the left is planning in response to the election. And look, that violence, I suspect, will occur no matter who wins. These are communists. They don't care. They want to blow up the system. I keep on telling you that. They don't care about Democrats versus Republicans. They may work with some for tactical reasons, but in the long run, everyone is going to be subject to suppression and oppression by the communists. And the president should federalize the DC police to prepare for election violence. Should have done it a few months ago, frankly. I mean, I was driving my car this morning. I'm listening to my friends, Vince Colonese and Mary Walter at WMAL, and they had the head of the DC Police Union on. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The new rules in DC are that police officers can only put on riot gear if faced with an imminent threat. So essentially, they need to start throwing rocks at you before you can protect yourself. And we saw the consequences of that type of craziness the other day here in DC, where the police were chasing someone, or they tried to pull someone over, and the person was killed as they tried to evade the lawful police activity. And so the violent left came out and used that as a justification to commit violence and try to harm police. And there were 12 policemen injured, including one or two quite seriously. And not only that, but in DC, the new rule is if they put on riot gear, it's the equivalent of the use of force. And they actually literally have to fill out a use of force report if they put on riot gear. Does that sound like a recipe for success in terms of quelling the violent left that is planning to lay siege to our nation's capital again? No. And those of you in other jurisdictions, you should be worried too. I mean, we saw what happened in Kenosha, in Indianapolis, Portland, Seattle. No place is safe from the communist insurrectionists, and they see the election as an opportunity. And any disputes about the election, they will see doubly as an opportunity. So these are dangerous times. I don't wish violence. Frankly, I hope the election is so overwhelming one way or another that there's really no credible reason for protest or anything like that. So, but we'll see what happens on election day. So vote in person. Oh, wait. And if you've got issues, and of course, Judicial Watch, we ain't going away because we're monitoring the elections. We have a legal team in place to litigate or investigate what's happening. We have an election fraud headline. Let me see if I can share a screen of the video or what it looks like. Do you see it? Yeah, now you see it. Keep our elections honest. Judicial Watch election fraud report line. So if you see anything, any suspicious activity at your polling place, have issues with your voting machine, you can't vote, or witness voter fraud or intimidation, there are a few things you need to do. You need to alert your local polling station election officials, talk to the authorities, make a report, go back home, call your state authorities and make another report. And then send an email to Judicial Watch at electionlaw@judicialwatch.org. That's electionlaw@judicialwatch.org. Now, this is what I don't want you to do. If you think another voter is doing something wrong, do not confront anyone. You just report it. It's not your job to police the polls. It's your job to express your concerns. Go in and vote, follow all the rules. And if there's something going on, you communicate with the officials on the scene. You don't interact with other voters. You don't confront other voters. Never, ever do it. I mean, you may feel you're justified. You may feel the desire to do it. Don't do it. If you do it, you are placing yourself at significant legal risk. Don't do it. And forget about the risk of doing it. It's just a bad idea. You're not going to get anything. It's just practically speaking the wrong thing to do. Legally speaking, it's a terribly risky thing to do, in my view. I told you what to do. Communicate with your local and state authorities and let us know what happened. That's all you need to do, and we'll try to follow up as appropriate. So we're prepared to investigate where we can. We don't have unlimited capacity, and as I'm concerned, there could be mass chaos. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.